Hello, everyone. Today, I wanted to talk about the Wim Hof Method and how it's helped me optimize my life with lupus and the four amazing changes that I have seen using this technique. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Marie. I live with lupus among other conditions. I am currently optimizing my life so I can keep up with my family, and I'm talking about it here on this channel. All right, so let's get into the four amazing changes that I have seen while trying to manage my lupus. So I discovered the Wim Hof technique or the Wim Hof method over a year ago, and I've been using it ever since. The Wim Hof method uses two different types of techniques. There is a breathing technique, and then there's also cold therapy or cold showers. The breathing technique in particular has really helped me manage lupus by helping me de-stress. So the breathing technique I noticed really brings my anxiety and stress down. So for me, anxiety and stress will push me right into a lupus flare. So I was using the technique to try and control my stress and try and control my anxiety to bring it down. The breathing technique definitely brings down stress and helps calm me down right away. So what I'm using it for is if I become particularly stressed or something is going on in my life that just causes more anxiety than usual, I immediately begin the Wim Hof breathing, and I'll do about 5 rounds. So if you have lupus flares that are made worse or brought on by anxiety or different types of stress, you might want to try this breathing technique to see if it also helps calm you down. Now, the breathing technique can feel hard at first, but it's really not. It's absolutely easy to do and easy to learn, and it goes by really fast. So I can do a session in the morning, and I can do a session at night, and then I can do a session during the day if I need to help calm myself down. And what it's doing is making sure that I don't go into a lupus flare that's induced by stress or anxiety. Now, a lot of us have fright or flight along with lupus. I have no idea why they're so interconnected, but they are. So with fright or flight, I absolutely hate this because a leaf can blow across the backyard and I will just go into full attack mode or thinking someone's breaking in because it's just so fright or flight all the time. The smallest noise can set me on edge, and that makes it worse on my lupus flares. So what I was doing is using Wim Hof, the breathing technique, and what I noticed, and I didn't realize this would happen, but what I noticed is in the middle of fright or flight, if I do the breathing technique, it actually brings me out of it. So using the breathing technique, it definitely lowers stress and anxiety, but it also lowers fright or flight sensation. And it also puts me into a completely different state of mind. So how I'm using it, if I notice I have fright or flight, I begin doing the breathing technique. I'll do 5 to 10 rounds, whatever I feel I need to do until I start to feel better. And then I noticed when I'm done, I'm just in a completely different relaxed state and not in fright or flight. I also use the breathing technique if I'm in the middle of a lupus flare. So let's say I wasn't able to stop the lupus flare with the breathing and the lupus flare happens anyway, I can use the breathing technique to help make me feel better and the lupus flare feel a little bit worse. So when I'm doing the breathing technique, what it feels like to me is that I have a little bit more energy than when I first started. I'm more relaxed and it helps me lessen pain with the flare. So whenever you have a full lupus flare, a lot of us feel a lot of pain along feeling just very exhausted and very bad. So this actually somehow gives me a little bit more energy and it feels like my body is just a little bit more rejuvenized during the flare. It also helps with some of the pain. Now, it doesn't pull me completely out of a flare. I can't go from in the middle of a flare to completely out of a flare using the Wim Hof breathing method, but it does make it easier on my body. It is relaxing different areas of my body. It makes the flare just a little bit easier to tolerate. Now, the other half of the Wim Hof method is the cold shower or cold therapy. Now, this one was a little bit difficult when you're dealing with autoimmune like lupus, because a cold shower or going out into cold temperatures was really hard on my body. And I actually had to start very, very small. So I actually started with 5-second cold shower. So I would start off in the shower with warm, typical water. And then I would turn it to cold once I got my courage up, and I would only last for about 5 seconds. Now, if you have lupus like me, you want to go very, very slow because this is hard on the body. And I don't know about you, but anything that's hard on my body, like anxiety or temperature changes, you name it, my body will go into a lupus flare. So what happened is I got a little overzealous because I liked the cold therapy. I liked the feeling after I got out of the cold shower. And we happened to have a really cold winter. And so I was anxious to go outside and try cold therapy outside. But what I didn't realize at the time is that it's very hard on my body. And I actually started to shiver. Now, if I shiver for too long, I will have a full lupus flare. I didn't know this at the time, but it happened. So I was outside for about 4 minutes in the cold. I did shiver and I had a lupus flare for the next 2 days. So if you want to try the cold therapy, and I do highly recommend it, it does feel really good once you come out. And there are some other benefits with the cold therapy that I will go over. But before I do, I just wanted to caution you, if your body is like my body and you're dealing with lupus, you have to go very slow and be very careful because cold therapy is hard on the body, just like heat. If I go outside and it's too hot, I will have a lupus flare, and the cold does me the same way. But what I noticed about it is when I come out, it's almost like you get endorphins and you just feel better. Your outlook on life is just better. And the pain levels go down after the cold shower or cold therapy. But what I liked the most about it is it helps train your brain. So what it's doing is it's kind of like putting mind over matter. So it's really hard getting into that cold shower at first, but as you build it up, it becomes easier and easier. So at first, it's kind of like a mind game. Your mind is screaming for you not to go into that cold shower. But once you get over that and you start to realize it's actually helping you in some way, you begin to put mind over matter, and you're telling your mind, you're training your mind to stand in that cold water, no matter what your mind is trying to tell you to get you out of there. But what I noticed is I'm able to not shiver in really cold temperatures. I'm able to shut that down now. So I'm able to tell my body, you know what? I know you're cold, but shivering is not going to help us at this moment. So let's do something else. And I'll literally shut shivering down. I'll just tell my body, stop. Now, it might sound a little bit crazy, but it actually really works. And it lets me know that I am in control of my body. And honestly, with lupus, having anything that lets us be in control of our body is a really good thing. So overall, the Wim Hof method, I absolutely love it. And I do use it to help optimize my life with lupus. I think it's an invaluable technique that most of us need to learn and try to utilize it in our daily lives. So be sure to check out the Wim Hof method and see if it's something that could help optimize your life with lupus. And I'll see you guys in the next video.